For starters, we're talking about Indian Health Services funding and how it works and the changes that need to be made. And in a week when we were successful in getting the Indian Healthcare Improvement Act into the overall healthcare reform, I thought it was appropriate to also talk about the budgetary challenges. Many of these facilities, this one included, just need a lot more space and are trying to treat many more people than can easily fit in this kind of a facility. So we have a lot of challenges ahead of us and wanted to strategize on the best way to address some of those.
The Act expired 8 years ago, and by getting this included, if it passes, it talks about urgent reforms being able to move forward. Can you outline some of those urgent reforms?
Well, I think as we move forward, one of the things we're going to have to grapple with is something we talked about today, which is that many years ago, practically everyone lived on reservation. Today, a large number, a very high proportion of Native Americans live in urban areas, and we have to make sure that we provide those services where they are, not where they used to be.
And one of those is going to be behavioral health, and that there's not a lot of that out in the urban or rural areas. As a matter of fact, there have been 4 teen suicides in recent months. Is that going to benefit some of those kind of services as well?
I certainly hope so, and one of the interesting things about the First Nations model is that they try to treat the whole person, and I think we need to do more and more of that, where you go to one place to deal with behavioral health services or traditional health care or all the different things that help a person be a healthy person, and integrate that into one system instead of splitting everything up into 5 different places with 5 different providers. And I think that kind of approach bears a lot of fruit.
Why was it allowed to lapse, and why did it stay expired for 8 years?
You know, it really got caught up in a whole set of politics that have nothing to do with Indian health care. And so because sometimes things in Washington get caught up with other politics and things get added to bills that don't really have to do with the primary purpose of the bills, that is exactly what happened with this bill and has kept it from moving forward for almost a decade now.
And what's the advantage of putting it into the bigger health care insurance reform bill?
Well, I think those other issues that had really held it back for years are going to be debated anyway, so they no longer needed the Indian health care bill as a vehicle for that debate. And so many of the people who, there are very few people who I think fundamentally oppose reauthorizing this legislation, and this gives us an opportunity to get that done and to have those other debates as we move along with the healthcare reform.
And separately, it looks like more and more polls are showing that more and more Americans are favoring the public option, and it looks like it will be inserted into a final Senate bill. Your thoughts?
I am very hopeful it ends up in the Senate and House versions, and then we'll have to reconcile those. But I think it's been a very good process to have this long sort of debate about what health reform should look like, and we've seen the numbers move as people have gotten more and more educated about the various different issues, and so it's very encouraging.
Will you make any predictions?
I predict we'll get a strong healthcare reform bill out of the House. Then we're going to have to wrestle with the Senate, as we always do, and we'll go from there.